So good morning. Thank you very much for coming. The Board of Directors of the Edmonton Elks has created a special committee to conduct a review of the ownership of the club. The 5-person special committee will consist of myself as chair of the board, current board members Brent Hesje, Darryl Boessenkool, former board members Bruce Bentley, Diane Brickner. Bruce Bentley will be the chair of the committee. The decision by the board was with the goal of ensuring professional football continues to thrive as a member of the Canadian Football League in Edmonton and Northern Alberta. LeLacheur, who joined us 3 months ago as interim president and CEO, will be a non-voting member of this committee. He's agreed to stay on until the task is complete. Rick has been working with the board in the creation of this committee and will be heavily involved as we look towards the future of the club. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Rick.
Thanks, Tom. Going forward, I always like to look forward. So I've been here 3 months, and in conversation with management and the board, we've looked at a lot of things on forecasts in particular, and know that over 2024, if we kept on the same track, or even to a degree got better, that the trust fund is going to be in danger of diminishing. So we all felt very strongly that now's the time to go forward and look at what the options are. We're not going to prejudge what the options are, but there's a number of them. And with the committee working very diligently and very quickly, they're all committed to it. And we found that, clearly there's a history of we've spent a lot of money on the trust fund over the last number of years, and it's benefited very much. So, but going forward, we are going to need a capital investment on the club going forward, because it's going to take a couple years to get out of these losses that we've been accumulating on an annual basis. So I'm going to work very closely with the committee, and when the committee's ready, they'll make a recommendation to the board of directors, who will be the ones that'll make the decision on any ownership change going forward. So with that, we're certainly open to any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
Hey, Rick. You mentioned 3 months on the job. From the 3 months here, what have you seen, if you can offer any specifics on what needs to improve?
Some wins.
Yes.
I think our staff here are working very hard on the renewal of season seats. We're selling actually a good number of new season seats, which is a great sign. And on the field, when people got to Trey Ford and the excitement he has, that the environment got a lot better. You know that we closed the top deck. That's gone relatively well. There's some people that have been up there for a lot of years, but we're relocating them the best we can. The biggest thing I've seen, and I haven't been here for 10 years, right, this is my opinion, not the club's. We need some very high investment into this stadium if this stadium's going to go forward as a CFL stadium. You know, it's been the love of the CFL for a lot of years. It's had a lot of events here, but it's not the stadium of the future that you see that we have in Regina and Winnipeg and Hamilton and Ottawa, and the going forward. So it needs a pretty big investment, and I know the city's been looking at it. But it's too big for today's environment of the CFL and the type of seats that you can sell. You can sell suites, you can sell party decks. We've seen it in those other cities. Group's a very important part of ticket sales in a CFL team, and so we're going to be looking at everything. If there's an unlimited amount of dollars, I'd build new stadium. That's what I do, but I don't have that kind of dollars.
Okay, so major
it needs, the stadium's been great for all these years, and from '78, but But just you look around the CFL now, where even by closing the top deck, we're going to be the 4th largest stadium, and we know it's got the track that a lot of stadiums don't have. We know it's got the pitch that's a lot more gradual slope than other stadiums. So that's probably the number one I've seen, and we can still deal with it, but we all have to work at it together.
And then in terms of what you guys are talking about today, has there been a person or a group even casually express interest in becoming the owner of the Elks? Like, are you that?
Yes, there is. I've had 3 or 4, I guess, reach out to me in the last 3 months to, because they hear say on the street and around the league that have expressed an interest, and I've told them they just have to wait. We've had no negotiations or anything like that, but there's clearly it's a great community for sports. It's a great community for football, and I think there's going to be a fair amount of interest, whether it's a group or an individual. And with the committee going forward, we'll just see where that is.
Rick, how difficult was it to make that decision with a club that's been owned by the community for so many years, now to potentially look for one owner or a group of owners?
It's difficult. There's a lot of green and gold and a lot of people's blood in this community, and particularly we talked this morning with all the past board members and the shareholders to let them know what was happening, and they've put a lot of time in. This board's put a tremendous amount of time in, and even with Tom as a player, he's played, and that you bleed green and gold, but I think we've seen transformations in the CFL. Vancouver, Calgary, Hamilton, that I can right away have been community teams that have changed to private ownership. And when you see what's happened in Vancouver and Montreal, at this time last year, Montreal didn't have an owner. Now they're the Grey Cup champions. So this is, I think, this is going to be a transformation for this franchise.
But it sounds like whoever this new owner will be, a new stadium definitely is something that needs to be brought in.
That's just my opinion. Yeah, that's just my opinion of what we need. And maybe it's not going to happen overnight. I fully understand that. But if you could get a new facility where you could play CFL football and Canadian Premier League soccer, then it fits for both. And the more days you get in a facility, the better off you are.
This ownership system has been in place for a long time, has been very successful for a long time. What brought us to this point to make this decision to?
Well, we've been very fortunate to have a trust fund. That trust fund came about because from the sale of the Edmonton Trappers, from hosting Grey Cups in 97, 02, 10, and 18. That's really where the funds so it's got us through a fair amount. But when you look back, COVID, there's been some football operation changes that have cost money. On the field, it's a win-loss business, and when you're not winning at home for whatever it was, 4 years, that plays on it, and it ends up costing you a lot of money to go forward. And so it's more of a revenue problem, but I'm more confident that this city in northern Alberta has a great fan base, and if we do things right and get where we're playing exciting football on the field, they'll come back.
Yeah, I've heard you can pass along about how much you said you guys are kind of getting hold at this time, because, danger of just give some numbers of how many years you think you have left.
Talking me or the team?
The team.
We want to handle it now. I don't want to be in a position, nor does the board or the special committee, to all of a sudden go to the CFL and say, oh, here's the keys. That's not what we're all about. We're doing it ahead of time to make sure that it's organized, we get the right owner or group of owners or individual owners, and that it will go forward as a franchise that'll be around for another 75 years. So there's no timeline on when we have to do this, but we know by the end of next year we're going to need a capital investment. So.
We heard from the fans who said that they want to bring that out, or I know you mentioned the Lions and how they brought it back. You know, the entertainment has changed, a lot more people are showing up. Is that what you're hearing when you guys talk to season holders?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same in Montreal with the new owner of going forward. I don't think everything that's been done here in the past has been done wrong. There's been a lot of good things, and this franchise has been very sound and solid for 74 years. So it's a combination of things that have crept up over the last number of years. And when you are a community-owned team, just like Vancouver, Calgary, Hamilton were in the past, when you run out of money, you run out of money. You can't go borrow money, so you need somebody to make an investment.
Can you give us a little bit of an idea of the 4 groups that have been hired?
Nope.
Local or local?
No, I'd prefer local, and there's both. There's a couple of them. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but there's a couple of them that I talked to about buying the Lions back 3 years ago. So we'll see. I think we'd all prefer local. That makes the most sense, and we've seen that again in Vancouver and Montreal, where local ownership has been a great factor in reinvigorating the club.
It kind of sounds like, I mean, this process is leaning towards going towards private ownership. What's the committee specifically going to be looking at here going forward? What's the exact task? What are you going to be looking at?
Frankly, all options. You know, we're not ruling out anything at this point. We need to open our eyes and cast a wide net to make sure that we are going to give this club the opportunity to be successful for another 75 years. So we're not ruling out anything. If everything was perfect and we had, you know, local ownership that was building a new stadium that was, you know, endless pockets, then sure. You know, if that person or group of people exists, come on down, give Rick a call, and we'll start talking. But we're not ruling out anything at this time, if that makes sense.
In the release, it kind of mentioned, I think Rick touched on it already, that you know, for this year, 2024, the trust fund kind of cover things. If things don't change, what happens after 2024? Like if things weren't to change, what would happen after 2024 with the Elks?
It's hard to speculate on that as to what happens. If we go 18-0, I don't think that we have much of a problem. If we fill the stands, if we sell out all of our partnerships, it's a different story. If we get another severe COVID, that's a other end of the story, right? So, as I say, we don't know. There's still lots of unknowns in this business. So we're here. We know we can get through 24, barring COVID or nobody showing up in the stands and nobody wanting to partner with us. So it's difficult to forecast for you.
I think the attendance for the Elks is just under 25,000 this year, which I think was third highest in the league based on what I saw on CFL DB this morning. But so what, besides the attendance issue, what else has brought the organization to this point? Is it the stadium that's just too big and more costly than what the other organizations are?
Yeah, certainly moving parts, and I can't understate the effect that COVID had on the organization, on the consumer, how they consume their sports entertainment, right? Some were happy to buy a season ticket, but really they're only going to go to a couple of games. They're just not fully comfortable in embracing getting out. So it really is a complicated answer to how we got to where we are. So if we could sell at the bottom bowl, I think that would be the greatest thing. So.
Talking about private ownership, what would the price tag be for a CFL franchise?
Don't want to speculate on that one. Good on you for asking, but yeah, it's not that. It's never that simple. So.
Is there a time frame to make a decision one way or another how you're moving forward?
No, we'd like to do it as soon as possible, but recognizing that we are opening it up and looking at different options, we want to make sure every option is thoroughly examined, so we don't have a hard date of anything. No.
John, how much money exactly was needed to keep this organization afloat?
I'll throw that to Rick.
How much from the trust fund?
Yeah, like how much have you guys been dipping into to keep things going?
It'll be, we've dipped in about 4 million this year. And it's been dipped into, well, since COVID. So the trust fund at the end of this year will be about $7 million. But we also have liabilities. There's no one on this board, special committee, or me that's going to leave this city unpaid bills. So we're going to make sure that everything is paid. So the investment side, I think, to the question that you give to Tom, it's more important to whether it's a group, an individual, or whoever, that they're prepared to make an investment in the club versus what they're prepared to pay for it. It's more important that way to me, and it just was the same in BC and the same in Montreal.
I'm assuming there's been a discussion with the league. This process wouldn't have the league's voice in there. What's the discussion been with the league through this process so far?
Well, they've been kept aware. The commissioner and the board of governors have been kept aware of the Elks' financial woes. So they're fully supportive of what we're doing, and they'll help in any which way. But they know that a solution to this has to be found in Edmonton. That they can't find it.
I just want to clarify, you said 7 million left in the trust, correct?
There will be at the end of the year.
At the end of this year?
Yes.
Anything further?
Okay. Thanks very much.